May call upon our set of speakers for the next session, who are Justice Miangul Hassan Aurangzeb of the Islamabad High Court. His Honor has an LLM from the SOAS, School of Oriental and African Studies. He has also been called to the bar in the UK in 1995. He has worked with the well-known firm of Hafiz Pirzada Law Associates, and he has also worked independently as a lawyer for the High Court and Supreme Court. He has represented Pakistan on international arbitration proceedings. Justice Aurangzeb was administered the oath of an additional judge of the Islamabad High Court in 2015, and is now a permanent judge of that court and has been party to many landmark judgments. Thank you very much for joining us. If I can now call upon Dr. Nusrat Piracha to join us. Nusrat has been mentioned by Justice Brower. She does honor to Pakistan as the first woman to get an SGD from a leading university in the US. Her work has been recognized, and she has served and worked with ICSID in various capacities. She has a long distinguished career in international arbitration, having appeared and prepared cases for many of the leading international tribunals. She is also the reporter. She is also a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitration UK and the country reporter for Pakistan for the CLUER Arbitration International Board of International Transnational Arbitration. She served as a scholar in residence for 6 months in ICSID in 2016 and has been designated by the government of Pakistan to join the panel of arbitrators of ICSID for a term of 8 years. I think that's a great honor. With that, sir, let me invite the Chief Justice to deliver his opening remarks. Thank you.
Worthy speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen.
Move closer to the mic.
It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to be attending this international conference on one of the most important topics as far as the judicial system is concerned. Alternate dispute resolution has many forms, but it is of great importance, and it was at least I wasn't aware, because the recitation of the Holy Quran and its translation, Allah Almighty has also commanded to use alternate dispute resolution in resolving family disputes in particular and other disputes in general. Why is it so important for us? It is extremely important for us because the judicial system, as Mr. Hamid Latif correctly stated, is indeed in crisis. It is in crisis because of the unreasonable and unjustified delays. The Constitution of Pakistan makes it a duty of the state to ensure expeditious and inexpensive justice. But that goal has not been achieved as yet. The laws, the procedures, the processes are also outdated. The Civil Procedure Code and the Criminal Procedure Code both were drafted and promulgated almost a century ago. Today, we live in the 21st century. The world has changed, but our processes and our laws are still the same. It's not a forum where I should go in more detail, but yes, the biggest problem that we are facing is of backlog, is of unreasonable and unjustified delays, incompetence or even corruption of the system is also alleged. But most importantly, it is not a system which serves the stakeholders and the only stakeholder, and that is the people of Pakistan. It needs reform, and in the Islamabad High Court, we have realized that we have no option but to introduce reforms so as to restore the confidence of the people. But again, when we talk about the backlog, it is not just that the judiciary is responsible for it. If the executive had been enforcing the laws effectively, there would have been fewer disputes. The governance, the status of the governance, and a weak rule of law are two major factors. Dr. Shoaib Sadal referred to the prosecution. The district courts in Islamabad were established almost 6 decades ago, and it's the capital of Pakistan. But the executive failed in establishing a prosecution service, a professional prosecution service. The district courts and the police, they have been functioning without any prosecution branch. And the World Justice Program, which lists or which ranks the countries according to the rule of law, the performance of the prosecution branch is one of the most important factors that is taken into consideration. And imagine in the capital, there has been no prosecution branch for the past 60 years. We have been trying to persuade the executive to expedite the establishment of this important branch, but so far has taken us almost 2 years. So, the unreasonable delays, only a few months back, I had decided a case and the suit was filed in 1972. I, as a Chief Justice, I cannot justify it. The plaintiff had passed away many years ago. So, there are serious problems. There, because of the weak rule of law and the status of the governance and the incompetence or whatever of the executive, the disputes are so in such a large number that you need many, many experienced judges to handle them. But again, the state has never given the priority to the district judiciary which it deserves. It is the most important tier of the judicial system because it serves the people, and particularly those people who are a disadvantaged segment of the society. So, what is the solution to that? Yes, reform of the system has become inevitable. It should have been done many years ago, but now we have no other option. But simultaneously, encouraging alternate dispute resolution and making it a primary source of resolving disputes is and ought to be a priority. As Mr. Hamid Latif or Dr. Farooq referred to the 2017 law that was promulgated in the Islamabad Capital Territory. Though that was promulgated and enforced, but it has never been made operational. We have made endeavors, but red tapeism delayed making it operational. The judiciary does not have the purse. So we were dependent on the executive. The ADR centers had to be established, and trained mediators had to be appointed. The infrastructure as the state operates, the bureaucracy came up with a PC-1 which required funding. So we have proposed to the government, to the federal government, that instead of investing in the infrastructure for establishing these centers, we have proposed that organizations or institutes, say for example, the Chamber and Commerce and the regulators, and similarly, the 99 union councils of the local government, they all be notified as ADR centers. I take pride in saying that we have two honorable judges here, Justice Mia Gul Hassan Aurangzeb and Justice Sardar Saab, And I take pride because they are passionate about alternate dispute resolution and the mediation. We are also aware of the challenges. The most significant challenge is to have an effective ADR mechanism. The second challenge is to make people aware of the advantages and to build their confidence in the ADR system. And the third challenge, as already mentioned, is to have experienced, committed mediators. They require training. What is the way forward? I again take pride in this, that the initiative has already been taken by the Islamabad High Court, and particularly the two honorable judges sitting here, in making the 2017 law of ADR functional. But we have also established a very ambitious reform process, and we have established a reform project in the Islamabad High Court with the mission to reimagine justice in the 21st century so as to restore the confidence of the people in the justice system. And alternate dispute resolution is one of the most important aspect and part of this reform process. We are not doing it alone. We have rather taken all the stakeholders on board, the executive, i.e. the federal government, the other stakeholders, and particularly our legal community, the lawyers. But the challenge, the most important challenge, is to have a will to go through this reform process. And again, I take this pride that the Islamabad High Court and its honorable judges have that will, because we realize that we are answerable to the litigants, we are answerable to them because they are our sole stakeholders. With these words, I congratulate the organizers of this international conference, particularly Dr. Nudrat, for organizing it. And I welcome all of you to come and join the Islamabad High Court's reform project to bring a change and to restore the people's confidence in the justice system. Thank you so much.